The LA Lakers will be the team everybody will have their eyes on this coming season. So let's talk about them. Let's talk about how good they can and possibly will be this coming season. What is going on, y'all? 5 Sports Talk back at it with another video talking, of course, some NBA. If you guys are new to the channel, make sure to go ahead and subscribe and turn on post notifications because you're not going to want to miss out on all this content coming out. I post videos daily, weekly, and you don't want to miss it. So with that being said, let's get started with today's topic, talking about the Lakers team and how good I think they possibly can be this season. So how I want to break this down basically is first talking about the roster itself. So because we're at a point now where the Lakers basically 12, 13-man roster is pretty much done, and we know which guys are going to get minutes. We know which guys are going to potentially get the big minutes, really start. We don't know who's going to start yet, but we know basically they're not going to make any more free agent signings. The Kawhi Leonard trade, which I thought was going to happen, isn't going to happen. He's in Toronto. So basically the Lakers roster is set, and even though we're a few months away from the season, never too early to start talking about the upcoming NBA season. So I'm going to talk about the roster, obviously, first and foremost, and then talk about where I see them in the Western Conference finishing in terms of a seeding, and then after that, how far I see them going in the NBA playoffs. So let's get started. So let's start with the roster itself of the Lakers and where exactly they stack up in the Western Conference. So we'll start with point guard. In one, Lonzo Ball, of course, the polarizing number 2 overall pick from last season. He had a decent season. To me, it was maybe average to below average. I didn't think he was that great. 10 points, 7 rebounds, 7 assists. Again, judging him by a number 2 overall pick standards, not just a normal draft pick standards. If he was picked 30th or in the second round, obviously the standards would be different, but he was number 2 overall pick, so you have to take that into account, okay? And the Lakers gave him some competition this upcoming season by signing point guard Rajon Rondo, who played very well for the Pelicans last season. He played on my Bulls a season or two ago. So Rondo, of course, we know he's got a championship. He's got playoff pedigree in this league, and he has made and played in all of the biggest moments, okay? Now, a lot of people are not taking Rajon Rondo as a threat to the starting point guard job, but I fully believe that he is a legitimate threat. And I don't know why I slowed down when I said legitimate, but he is a legitimate threat to be the starting point guard for the Lakers. The reason I say that is because with Lonzo Ball, 2 things, obviously, with durability and shooting, okay? Now, I'm not saying Rondo's a better shooter than Lonzo Ball, but clearly he's been in this league for as long as he has with his lack of shooting for a reason. He can make it up in a number of different areas, and we saw Lonzo Ball last season also missed a lot of games. So there's obviously the fact that he hasn't shown to be durable thus far in his season, in his career, so Rondo could immediately start if Lonzo misses some games. But then you take into account the fact that Lonzo Ball, if he does not improve his shooting, they could look to move Rajon Rondo in, because even though Rondo can't shoot as well, or maybe he's just as bad as Lonzo, if you will, but he can provide, other areas. He can provide impact in other areas. Now, I expect Lonzo Ball to be the opening day starter, but just something to keep in mind there. So their point guard play in the Western Conference, it's looking to be average to a little bit above average, okay? When we take a look at the 2-guard position, we've got Josh Hart and Kentavious Caldwell-Pope. I love Josh Hart. I'm a big Josh Hart fan. He won the Summer League MVP. I think Josh Hart is in for a big season. Prior to Summer League, actually, I thought KCP was going to be the starter, and he very well still could be, but my money is on Josh Hart winning the starting 2-guard job outright in training camp and being the starting 2-guard for the Lakers. He's a perfect 3-and-D guy for the Lakers in this era that we value so much, with 3-and-D guys who can space the floor and defend. I think Josh Hart is going to be absolutely a stud for the Lakers, and I am glad that he never got traded for whoever the Lakers could have possibly traded him for. Josh Hart's going to be a stud. So I really like the Lakers' 2-guard position with him there. Let's talk about small forward. I'm not going to put one Lebron James here because he is obviously, to me, not going to play small forward, I believe, okay? I have Brandon Ingram here, and I also have Lance Stevenson, okay? So Lance can also play the 2 as well as the 3, but I'm penciling in Brandon Ingram as the starting small forward for the Lakers. Now, Brandon Ingram has been a bit of a hit or miss player, if you will. He made great strides last season, but hasn't bulked up like we want him to, hasn't really taken the all-star leap like we have wanted him to. Maybe he could make it this season, but we haven't seen it thus far, and he was also a high draft pick, I believe number 2 as well. So let's see what we see from Brandon Ingram this season, but we really need to have Brandon Ingram make that leap, okay? I believe that a lot of people are making the comparison with Jason Tatum. Jason Tatum at this point might be even better than Brandon Ingram, folks. Just saying, okay, because Jason Tatum showed up a lot last season. We saw in the playoffs. Not to say Brandon Ingram can't do the same, okay? Laker fans, calm down. We know Brandon Ingram has mad potential. I believe he's got mad potential, but I need him to take that leap this season. I want him to average 20 points a game. I want him to average at least 7 rebounds a game. I want him to make an impact on the defensive end of the court. We take a look at Lance Stevenson. Lance is a guy who can possibly I just want him to come in, provide some solid defense, give him some good playmaking, and that's about it. And don't screw things up. That's it for Lance Stevenson, okay? Then at power forward, the Lakers are actually pretty loaded at this position. Of course, we've got LeBron. I think he's going to be the starting 4. Not much to say there. They've got the best power forward now, if you will, in the league if LeBron stays playing the 4. But again, this is just my projection. Then we've got Kyle Kuzma. I think Kuzma's going to come off the bench. I love Kyle Kuzma. We know he's going to be a stud. I'm completely sold on him. And then we've got Michael Beasley, who the Lakers also signed as well. And he's going to provide a good scoring punch. I think he's going to play about 10 to 15 minutes a game for the Lakers. I don't expect him to play 30, 35 minutes. I don't think he's going to get that much time. The Lakers actually have a lot of depth, folks. And I've even gotten to the center spot, which I will now, with JaVale McGee, who I think will be the starting center. And then Moritz Wagner, their draft pick from this season. I think he's going to be decent as well. One other guy I did not mention, the draft pick, and I don't know how to pronounce his name, SVI. That's basically the short way of saying his name, but he's going to be good as well. In the summer league, he showed out, and he can play, I believe, the 1 and the 2, but more so the 1. So he's going to provide some good depth there at point guard as well. So overall, what do I see from the Lakers roster? 2 basic themes that come out. One is lack of shooting. That is clear here. The only shooters on this roster we have are Josh Hart, Kentavious Caldwell-Pope, Kyle Kuzma, and Michael Beasley, if you will, but he's not even that great of a three-point shooter, okay? So not too much shooting on this roster. But the other thing I also see here is there are a ton of playmakers. You've got Lonzo Ball, you've got LeBron James, you've got Rajon Rondo. I believe Lance Stevenson's a playmaker. I believe Brandon Ingram can be a playmaker. So a lot of guys that can that are playmakers that can also create for others and create shots for others as well. And this is something that LeBron didn't have in Cleveland, which he severely lacked. The lack of playmakers, okay? So those are the 2 main things I see with this roster. Not a lot of shooting, but I see a lot of playmaking on this roster. I know it's a bunch of misfits, but I think it can somehow work. So where, or how good, I should say, do I see this Lakers team being? Well, if you just take a look at the Cavs from last season, they finished as the 4th seed, won 50 games with that roster, and to me, this Lakers roster overall is much better than the Cavs roster. Besides Kevin Love, there is not a single player on this roster, or I should say the Cavs roster, that is better than anybody on this roster. I truly believe that, because if you take a look at the Cavs from last season, like I said, besides Kevin Love, Tristan Thompson, you had Jordan Clarkson, George Hill, you had guys like Jeff Green, really just guys that are okay role players, but nobody with potential really. Lonzo Ball on the Lakers has potential. Brandon Ingram has potential. Kyle Kuzma, Josh Hart, a bunch of these guys have a lot of potential. And even the guys that are obviously seasoned veterans like a Rajon Rondo, the Cavs didn't have anybody with Rondo's talent. I think Rondo's better than George Hill. So to me, this Lakers team is better than that Cavs team in terms of the surrounding pieces around LeBron James. And that Cavs team won 50 games last season, was the 4th seed. Now I get it, that's the Eastern Conference, but even if you want to downgrade the Lakers a little bit in the West, I see them being anywhere from a 3 to a 6 seed, okay? So I put them in the same class with the Oklahoma City Thunder and the Utah Jazz, and then below them, really the Spurs, Pelicans, Nuggets, Blazers, if you will. So I believe the Lakers are in that class from 3 to 6. I think they can win 50 games. I think they will win 50 games. And I think this roster, the only two teams that I see are clearly better than this roster are the Warriors, of course, and then the Houston Rockets, though I think the Rockets took a hit this season with the losses of Ariza and of Luke Richard Mamute. But with that being said, I really do believe this Lakers team has potential this season. Now, obviously, we know that in terms of winning a championship, that's expecting a lot, because even the Heat didn't win a championship in the first season when LeBron James joined them. And we know that there's the Warriors team out there who's got a USA starting 5, okay? So how far do I expect the Lakers to go? I can see them going to the Western Conference Finals, but more likely than not, they are a second-round team. So there you have it, folks. Let me know what you guys think. How good are the Los Angeles Lakers? How many games will they win this season? How far will they go in the playoffs this season? Leave a comment down below. Let me know what you guys think. If you guys agree with me or disagree with me, hit me up on my social media. Let's talk and debate and all of that good stuff. With that being said, thanks for watching.